Hello everybody, this is M. Subbalakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, St. Josephs Arts and Science College for Women, Hosur. In the following slides, we are going to see about Treynor'S ratio used in analysis for share markets. And this ratio is named after Jack L. Treynor as a measurement of returns earned in excess of that which could have been earned on an investment that has no diversible risk. So we in the following slides going to see something about this Treynor'S ratio. As I said in the previous slide, it measures the excess return a financial asset or a group of securities earned for every extra unit of risk assumed by a portfolio. So, Treynor'S ratio, it also called the reward to mortality ratio, since it portrays how much an investor is rewarded for a systematic risk undertaking. So, this measures and speaks the return on financial assets. And this is what about known as Treynor'S ratio. So these are the examples of this Treynor'S ratio. The examples are XYZ is a mutual fund with a rate of return of 15%, and its beta value is 1.3, meaning it's 30% or more volatile is fluctuations, and then the market and the risk-free return rate is 3%. So this is an example of Treynor'S ratio. Then XY Treynor ratio will be 15%, that is rate of return, minus, that is subtracted by beta value divided by the number of years, or beta value, 15% is rate of return, and it's subtracted from the risk-free return rate and divided by the beta value. It's a measure of risk reward. Hence, if one were to invest in XYZ mutual fund, the compensation or reward for assuming 1 unit of risk could be rupees 9.23, and this is the best example of Treynor'S ratio. So, illustration of how investors can use Treynor'S to make investment decisions. Here is an illustration how it is happening. I will explain you this illustration. Raj is comparing between two mutual funds X, Y and Z. So Z is an equity fund, and while Y is on a fixed income fund, and the rate of return of X is 12% and that of Y is 7%. Additionally, Y beta is 0.5 and X is 1.2. It denotes that X is 20% more volatile and Y is 50% less volatile than the market. Why this is happening? Because 12% is higher than 7%. But let us assume the risk-free return rate is 2%. Therefore, X Treynor ratio is 12% minus 2%, or XTR is 8.33. The Treynor ratio of Y 7% minus 2%, 0.5 divided, or YTR is 10. If Raj chooses to go by such rate of return, the obvious choice could have been X. However, this conclusion changes when those two options are compared based on Treynor'S ratio. It shows that although X provides higher return, it does not justify the risk, such as fund assumes Y compensates better for the assumed risk and thus is a better choice. So thus it illustrates how the investors can use Treynor'S ratio to make investment decisions. These are the limitations of Treynor'S ratio. One of the primary limitations of this metric is that it does not apply when the beta value of a portfolio is negative. So beta value plays an important role in the Treynor'S ratio. We have alpha and beta value to have comparisons. It depends, it is an assumption. This alpha, beta and all these things are assumptions in calculating some ratios. So thus it does not facilitate comparison between funds if one of them holds a negative beta value. So another limitation of this ratio is its dependence on historical data. Even though a portfolio has fared better compared to another in the past, it's no assurance that the same trend will repeat in the future. So these are the limitations of Treynor's ratio. The accuracy of Treynor's ratio depends on whether one applies an appropriate index in its calculations. This metric does not provide any basis to determine how much better one investment option other than. So these are the limitations of Treynor's ratio. This is the difference between Sharpe's ratio and Treynor's ratio. Treynor's ratio, it measures the risk adjusted return of a portfolio based on its beta. By Sharpe's ratio, it measures the risk adjusted return of a portfolio based on standard deviation of its gain. In Treynor's ratio, it considers the systematic risk of a portfolio which a fund manager cannot set off by diversifying. Sharpe's ratio considered the unsystematic risk of a portfolio which can be set off by diversifications. It's more suitable to access portfolio that are well diversified. It's more suitable to access a bevy of securities that is less diversified. So this is the difference between Sharpe's ratio and Treynor's ratio. So advantages and disadvantages of Treynor's ratio. The various advantages and disadvantages of Treynor's ratio are risk adjusted performance. This is a very good advantage. It can be adjusted with the risk and we can understand that, and ignores unsystematic risk. There is two kinds of a risk, systematic risk as well as unsystematic risk. So this is a disadvantages, and advantages, again, it's easy to understand by many and useful for diversified portfolios. We have different portfolios, and at the same time disadvantages, dependence on beta, no consideration of current market condition. There will not be any consideration for current market conditions. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of Treynor's ratio. To conclude, in conclusion, investors can access the risk adjusted performance of mutual funds with great benefit from the Treynor's ratio. It offers a clear, concise indicator of the return on investment an investor receives for each unit of market risk they assume, and it should not be used in isolation, though as it has limitations just like any other financial metric. And in addition to the fund's objectives and investment strategies, investors should take their own risk tolerance and investment goals into account, and any ratio for that matter. The investor should sit with their investment portfolios and they should take their own risk tolerance activities. Hope I have given you some of the examples with Treynor's ratio, and have put my knowledge, whatever I understood and know to you. Thank you.